Welcome to the chat. Today we're going to have a fantastic episode for you all talking about young fempreneurship. So ladies, when did you know you wanted to be an entrepreneur? When did you think you wanted to be your own boss? Because obviously both of you here are seasoned and experienced and successful fempreneurs, while I am an accidental entrepreneur. So when did you know? Because I didn't know a year and a half ago if you'd asked me. So Kayla, when did you know?
I didn't know that becoming a writer is what would lead me to be an entrepreneur. I just knew that I liked to write books. And when I started to publish, then I realized publishing is a business. And I fell into it as well.
Accidentally?
Accidentally. I mean, I always knew I wanted to be a writer. I just didn't know that there was a business side to that. I mean, you don't think about that so much when you're thinking about pursuing your passion.
For most people, like when they become an entrepreneur, it's something that they might have fell into or gradually decided that they were going to be an entrepreneur. I don't think anyone really sets out and says, I'm going to school because I'm going to be an entrepreneur. Not really, but that was sort of, for me as well, it was just, I had many careers before becoming owning my own business. And
so how has it been? So, because again, going back to me, just calling myself an accidental entrepreneur, just even trying to figure it all out. It both happened at the same time, accidental entrepreneur, accidental publisher. But I think what resonates with all three of us is just the following that passion. You get to feel that thing where it tells you that this is something that you want to do, you enjoy doing it. Has it been the same for you? Because Kayla, at 18, you already, well, before 18 even, but at 18 you had already gotten your first big
rejection.
Not a rejection at 18, but at 18. But what kept you going was the passion that, okay, now I'm enjoying this, I want to keep doing it.
Absolutely. I didn't do it thinking about making money. I was doing what I liked and knew that if I kept going, eventually I would make money at it. That was my goal. You have to follow your passion, you have to do well, and then the success will come.
what is it that you do like about being an entrepreneur?
Well, I love that I'm my own boss. I love that, you know, for the most part, I get to work in my pajamas.
Wake up at noon.
I like, well, you know, now I'm a single mom, so I've got to get up early. That's the worst part. But I can set my own hours. I can work in Mexico if I want to with what I do. I just need my laptop. We'll travel. I can be anywhere doing what I want to do. So that's great. That part I love. But then there's also nobody trying to make you do it. Like there's no one who says, okay, have you clocked in yet for the day? So you don't have that boss.
Part of it, really.
It's great, but it can also be a hindrance.
Yeah, because you don't sleep. Like I never sleep.
Well, you never sleep, but then you can also procrastinate. Oh, I can do this a little later, and then you look and say, oh, I haven't set enough time out for myself.
Totally, that's the biggest thing I think is trying to self-motivate and trying to keep yourself on top of it, because it's so easy to find something else, especially if you're working from home, which I did for a while. It was like, oh, well, I have to get the laundry done, or
the toilets.
I have to
it's the truth, everything.
The toilet's breaking, you have to deal with that. But I think what I enjoy about the process, and I'm sure it might be the same for you all, is just seeing something evolve. You know, when you have that idea and you start doing it, and the successes come, but the challenges come, but just seeing it shape itself, I think that's the beauty of it. Sometimes just seeing something that you really put your heart to when you're doing it regardless.
And I think trying to recognize that, like taking a step back, 'cause sometimes you don't always get that chance to step back from your own business, and and to really appreciate what you've done or see what you've done.
And also, what your point lends itself to is that you can't always plan the perfect business plan. Oh, it's going to be this. By the first year, it's going to be that. You have to roll with it.
And be adaptable.
Yeah, you have to be adaptable. And, your markers for success might not be what they turn out to be. Don't be discouraged.
Exactly.
Just keep going with the journey.
Absolutely. And I think that's what is going to be a great segue into what we're going to be talking about today with our guests, because we have two fantastic guests, an entrepreneur who is a jewelry designer and a business consultant, again, going back to where you can always have a perfect business plan and you just go with it. So definitely, I think we're going to have a great conversation, and we'll be right back with the chat. Welcome back to the chat. So today, obviously, like we mentioned earlier, we're going to be talking to a jewelry designer, Celma K, who is an entrepreneur and also a student. So just even juggling both of them, Tanya, I know, I don't even know how you do it. But Celma, tell us a little bit about 6th Avenue and how you became involved with creating such a fantastic line.
Well, 6th Avenue actually started a year ago, last week. We celebrated our 1-year anniversary. So excited about that.
Awesome, congrats.
So it kind of started out when, actually it was very unexpected when it happened. When I was in high school, I used to just put different jewelry pieces together and everything. And everyone kept on asking me, oh, where did you get this from? Or where did you get that from? And where can I buy it? And then I'm like, you can't buy it, I made it. Then I made it for my friends, and then everybody started asking. Then I started to sell it in my high school, I started making it. And then there was such a big demand, everyone was asking me, and then I just made a website, and now I sell it.
So you specifically just jewelry is what you design?
Yes, that's what I do for now.
Can we just show your amazing ring?
I know.
I don't know if
Yes.
we can get this on.
I don't know if you can see it.
No, she's a jewelry designer.
Very creative. What is your inspiration for some of the pieces that you make?
It just comes from a lot of different places. Sometimes I look at a jewelry piece, and I'm like, oh, it can use a little bit of this, or maybe I can add this to it or that. Or sometimes just like the runway, I'll watching and I see things, and I'm like, oh my God, I can do this to it, or I can do that to it.
Make it better.
Yeah.
Because I think one of the things I read from your description of your line is that it's very bold and fierce. And I think that really tells a little bit more about your personality and what makes it such a unique line. So what do you have in store coming up next? What do you have planned?
Well, I do have my summer collection coming very soon, which is going to be very colorful, very happy, very big and bold, like she said. And I also have people working from different continents now. I have people from Europe also working with me. They joined the 6th Avenue team, so I'm really excited about that, and it makes everything just run a little more smoother.
Wow, that's great.
And yeah.
So going back to the fact that you're doing this and also juggling school, how do you balance that?
It's hard, I'm not going to lie, it's really hard, but it just takes determination, and it takes just time management. If you organize your time properly, you can get everything done.
I think that, again, going back to what we were talking about earlier, is just self-motivating and holding yourself accountable, which can be hard sometimes. But it's like anything, if you want it bad enough, if you want it to succeed, you'll make it happen, right?
It is. The key is to waking up early. If you wake up early, you'll get everything done
in the 24 hours.
Yes. Waking up early.
So how about some of your friends? Because I know a lot of times when you're doing this and then you have your friends going to say, oh, Selma, let's go partying, and there's something fun happening, and then again putting that entrepreneur hat on, you're like, oh, I can't go out there. So are you sort of like a party pooper sometimes?
Sometimes I am, just to get my things done, but at the same time, it is also an opportunity for me to go out there and wear my stuff and show it to people. So if I'm there, if I'm taking my pictures, I'm uploading them on Instagram, I'm uploading them on Facebook, and other people get to see it too.
So if someone wants to check out your jewelry, do you have a website? Is there how do we get a hold of you?
So yes, I do have a website. It's 6thAvenueCollection.com, and I'm also on Instagram at 6th Avenue Collection, and I'm also on Twitter, 6th Avenue, with 2 eyes on the 6th.
And if you want to know more about Selma, you can always go to Illuminessence.com, because obviously we were very honored that you allowed us to feature you as one of our young film leaders. So you can read more about Selma or get to know more about Selma on Illuminessence.com, and we're looking forward to the new line coming out in the summer. I think I'm going to be rocking that fashion in the summer for sure. So any last thoughts?
I'm excited to check it out myself. I'm really loving this
Oh, thank
And do you have any business philosophy or advice that you want to give to other aspiring entrepreneurs?
Well, honestly, the key is, like I said, waking up early and just wanting and bad enough to make it happen. That's what it is.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for being here with us. And we'll be right back with a chat. Welcome back to the chat. Thanks for joining us, everyone. So, here we have Marela Kameric, founder of Synergens Group Incorporated and business coach, who's going to tell us a little bit more about why do you need a business consultant and what does a business coach do for you when you're starting out as a young fempreneur, I like to call them, because we're all about women's empowerment and women entrepreneurs. So Marela, welcome to the show and thanks for being here.
Well, thank you for having me, Marie. This is the first time I'm on your show, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
To answer your question, in terms of consulting and why it's really important for entrepreneurs, especially when you're starting out, one of the major things that people lack quite frequently is the experience of business administration within your particular skill set. So what happens much of the time, people have a really great idea about what they wish to do, but they don't necessarily have the skills to take that to fruition. So they don't often begin with a strategy or with any kind of goals or objectives of where they really wish to end up. It tends to sort of happen by default. And then quite frequently we forget that, sales are a big part of the process and you're always going to have to sell, and learning and honing in on those skills. Or, do you want to operate as a sole proprietor or as a corporation? And, much of the time people try to go a few steps forward and say to me, well, I want to start a franchise, and franchise comes a long way down the road, right? Yes. So a lot of the times that's a really, really important part.
I laughed because when you said by default, because I happened to run to you when I found myself in this realm by default, and I can remember just hours and hours of just trying to even make sense of it. But that's where I really realized why it's important, because it's one thing to be driven by passion, but it's another thing to really know how to look at it from a business perspective. And I think it's so invaluable a lot of times to really have somebody guide you along the way to help you shape that vision that you have. What do you think, Tanya, in your experience?
Oh, I totally agree. I mean, as a business owner myself, you try to think of everything and you put your business plan together, but there's no way that you can think of everything. And I think it would be so beneficial to have an outside looking at your business and saying, well, these are the weak areas, or these are the areas that need a little bit of help, or you're not really focused on this road or avenue. And
certainly, yeah, I can definitely agree on that. And one of the things that's really convenient about consulting is that you don't need a full-time staff at all times, especially if you're just starting out. So we can come in, we bring a wide variety of experience because we worked with different businesses possibly within your skill set or within your sector, and we can really bring that area of expertise and really apply it to a startup. So you propel a lot quicker and you become profitable a lot quicker as well.
So just a little bit more about Synergens. What are some other services that Synergens provides, and how can people contact you to access those services or resources?
Well, I mean, one of the items, there are 3 lines of work that we actually offer. One is courses, so we actually teach entrepreneurs on what to be prepared for. We offer consulting, so an outsourced service in case you can't get through it by yourself. And we also offer mentorship, so I will actually coach you personally. And the way to get in touch with us is synergensgroupinc.ca, or also 905-978-2252. So you're welcome to.
Thank you so much. And I can totally attest to that, because I don't know what I would have done without your advice and your coaching. And here we are almost a year in and we're still going on with it. So I think it's absolutely fantastic what you do for your clients. So thanks again for joining us, and thanks for being here. We'll be back with the chat. So all aspiring fempreneurs out there, follow your passions, pursue your dreams, and until next time, keep illuminating, and thanks for joining the chat.